you're all having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day today and that you're being kind to yourselves. Welcome back to part 3 of our eco save file. I hope that you are enjoying it so far. I'm really enjoying building in this style. I'm having a lot of fun. The first 2 builds, if you haven't checked them out, I will link them down below. I'll also pop a card somewhere as well for you to check them out. Now, the first 2 were quite similar in style. This one it's a bit different in style. It's still keeping the same sort of aesthetic, I guess, but you'll see it's a little bit different. But I do like it, and I hope you guys like it as well. So let's jump into this week build. Today we're building in the Portsmouth Promenade lot, or on the Portsmouth Promenade lot, I should say, in Port Promise, which is in Evergreen Harbour. Obviously, because we're doing this eco thing. Anyway, you get me. This is the 3rd lot here in Port Promise that we are doing, and this house, it's a residential lot, but I thought it could be good for a holiday home too. I really wanted to do a community lot at first, but I decided I'm not going to do that because I was trying my hardest to find a balance with how many residential lots and how many commercial lots or community lots should I do for this. But then we've got the, what's that lot called where you can make it into the 3 different kind of lot types for eco lifestyle. I'm going to do one like that where you can have the community garden or the workspace, things like that. I'm going to have that as well. So I thought that's another community lot, and we already have the restaurant, the Hidden Hangout. So I thought this should be residential. We'll have 3 residential, and then we'll have the Hidden Hangout and the main community lot in this area. I might change things up in some of the other areas in Evergreen Harbour. If I do them, I'm still not entirely sure if I'm going to do any in the other parts of Evergreen Harbour. I think I probably will. It's just the style of how I want to build. I'm not sure how it's going to work in those parts of the world. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Regardless, I will finish Port Promise and hopefully you guys will love it. Hopefully. But yeah, so you'll see here, I really worked off the idea of it being a container home, which is the last 2 have been container builds as well. I just thought I would really play up to this container style because we're in Port Promise, and it was just a fun thing to explore because I've never done container homes before. So I did another one, but you can see straight away it's a bit of a different style immediately. It's this darker, more industrial looking sort of thing than the others. Now here, I was trying to use these eco lifestyle glass floorings. I discovered a while ago actually that if you size them up, the square, like the glass, doubles in size and the lighting works absolutely fine through it. So I wanted to create these big glass bits to create this glass ceiling overhead for like an outdoor patio sort of area. But I was experiencing this glitch and it was so annoying where I was trying to create a room and then put an actual flooring on top of it so that when I delete all the walls there's still an actual flooring, because I wanted to add a trim to the room next to, like, when the glass ceiling's sitting on it, I wanted to add a roof trim around it, but I needed a flooring to be there. And the glitch was like it wasn't counting my room as a room, so I couldn't sit anything on top of it. It was really weird, so that's why I was moving things back and forth and I was changing the angle and stuff to be like really low to try and get different angles, and then eventually I managed to make it work. I don't know what that glitch is. I found it happens quite often actually, that when I create a room it's like, I don't know if it's technically not a room. I don't know what the deal is, but I can't sit anything on top of it as if there's no grid there, you know? I don't know if anyone else experienced that, but yeah, I wanted to create this little glass space outside for them to hang out in, because the idea of the people that live here, right, it's a 2-bed home. It's actually, I mean, it's not a huge house. It is a decent sized house though, I will be fair. It's not as big as my last house I did for this little mini series. But yeah, I decided to make it for this couple. Now this couple, I imagined, were more posers, I want to say, in the eco sort of thing, that they live in this house that is an eco house. But it's a very modern eco house, and they're not doing it necessarily for the saving the planet kind of thing. It's more like they see it as a current trend, so they want to get on board and do it. But not that when you live like eco-friendly you can't still have all these like amazing glamorous things in life, but they very much are doing it for appearance, be like, oh, we live in an eco-friendly home, but like they don't actually necessarily care about saving the environment, if that makes sense. So it's very much a party pad. which is why I really like the outdoor space that I add to it. But yeah, the house itself I think is really nice. I go for a much darker sort of colour scheme with this house, whereas the other two were very light and pastel-y. So I wasn't sure if I was going in the right direction with this, because I didn't know if I wanted all of the builds to really like work together like perfectly, in that sense of them all being light and pastel. I did think that's what I was going to go for at first, because naturally that's what I want to do when I do these eco builds, but I had a lot of fun. As soon as I started adding in those dark grey windows, I was like, ooh, I like where this is going. So I went with it. I carried on, and I made the interiors even darker actually. So it is a very different build. It is a very different build to the others. But I hope that it still works overall, because it's this container home. It's still got these little garden spaces and that. I hope overall it still matches up fine. It's just that it definitely is a different palette choice, shall we say. A different palette choice. But yeah, here you can see I'm just adding like a bunch of landscaping in that. And I really like the outdoor space I have in it. There's a little balcony area that I have just off the dining space. So you'll see when we get to furnishing it, but I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be outdoor dining and they maybe didn't have interior dining, but actually the floor plan kind of allowed me to have interior dining, so it becomes more of a little hangout, but I still think that's nice. So yeah, here we are with the kitchen. Now, I never use these counters because they're industrial, and I've always said I really want to do an industrial build, but when I try and like sit down and actually do one, it doesn't work. I can't do it. I don't know. It's just not my style. But I think it worked really nicely for this build. Really nicely. So I was really pleased with that. I was. And then I started doing these little shelves. I just thought it was kind of a nice feature because I didn't want the counters to touch the window area. And then it kind of transformed on this side of the room. It's all shelving now, really. But I think it gives it a really nice open sort of feel. This whole floor is just open plan. I do add one tiny little dividing wall, but otherwise it's all open plan. But yeah, so here I am. You see me just adding these shelving, getting rid of the units because it creates a little bit more of an airy space, and I think that's what they were going for. I do think this kind of house is very similar to a lot of houses you see in real life that are container renovations. They have this very industrial sort of feel, the darker colour scheme, the lots of wood. I do think that really you could easily find a house like this in real life. Whereas my last build was like, I think if you saw a house like that in real life, you'd be like, what is that thing? Because like this is what Anna is saying in the comments, is like, it's weird. If we really think about it, it's a weird build, right? And it is. I 100% agree. A lot of my builds are in this sort of style, this eco-friendly rooftop garden thing, boxy modern. They're weird, and you would very rarely find them in real life. Or if you did find them in real life, you would be like, yeah, what is that? But this one I do feel like could be slightly more normal in real life, if you get what I mean. Like, I feel like this seems like the kind of houses you do see when they're these modern container homes. Actually, having said that, I just remember this house. So I love to watch, I've already mentioned this a million times on my channel, but I love to watch home tours of, like, if houses are for sale and you watch them on YouTube where the real estate agent is giving you a tour of the house. I love watching YouTube videos like that so much. And I watched one recently that was like, I don't even know what it was made out of. It was very much like something I would build in The Sims, let's say. It was a boxy modern build, and it looked like it was made from some sort of recycled material. It wasn't a shipping crate, but it kind of had that sort of aesthetic. It was this dark grey box and it had really thick walls that looked like they were made of metal. I don't know, it was weird, but there was lots of glass, there was lots of plants, there was also this really nice contrast in this really sharp white walls, and there was lots of these wooden walls and things, and it just looked gorgeous. And as I was watching it, I was already imagining building it. So I might find a way to build that for the save file. I'll have to see, but I would like to build that. I think that would be nice. But yeah, here you can see I'm just adding like a few bits of clutter and stuff like that. Those plants I shrunk down because I think they're really cute, and I just added them to the counter. But you can see when you size those items down, they have the big original shadows beneath them. So what I did was I just sunk them once down into the counter so that the shadows were inside the counter, you couldn't see the shadows. That's what I done. But this kitchen actually isn't technically usable because all of the counters have something on them. I already caught that, so when I was taking screenshots, I just moved something off of one of the counters, so at least you have one that is free. Also, I just want to apologise if you can hear that background noise. I'm sorry. Normally I film really late at night so that we don't have any noise in the background, but I'm currently filming at 7 PM, so people are still bopping about. So I really apologise if you can hear any of that noise. I hopefully will be able to edit some of it out. But yeah, it doesn't happen normally, so sorry. But yeah, so we're moving on to the dining space in just a second. And like I say, I thought that we wouldn't have an interior dining space. So I was thinking at first about what this space would be, but then very quickly I was like, no, it makes sense. It really makes sense for that to be a dining space, right? Like, well, what else would you put there? Obviously it'd be a dining space. But I had imagined it having like a nice big, you can see me there trying to fit this nice big table out there, because I don't know, I think that little area looks really nice to have outdoor dining. It just seems very much like something you'd find when you go on holiday, or like that's what I imagine when I think of outdoor dining. I don't really think about here in the UK, although to be fair, like down in England it gets quite warm, so you do have outdoor dining quite a lot of the year. But when I think of outdoor dining, I always think about being on holiday and sitting out on the balcony by the sea. You know, that's what I imagine when I think of outdoor dining. It always reminds me of like happy childhood holidays. But yeah, so I'd really wanted to do outdoor dining there, but we got an indoor dining space, and I thought the house wasn't big enough to justify having 2 dining spaces, so instead I make it a little like sofa evening hangout bit. And honestly, like, I would love, a part of me really wants to move to a hot country. Like, I would love to spend a lot of time living outdoors, whereas here, like, obviously we have great landscapes and stuff to explore here in Scotland, and it is beautiful when the weather is good. Like, it's an amazing place to be, but I would love to spend a lot more time outside. And we do have a lot of cold weather, we do have a lot of really windy days. To be honest, where I live we don't get that much rain, we are quite lucky. Although having said that, today it's just been absolutely pouring it down. So maybe not today, today's not a good example, but normally we don't have that much rain. And it is a great place to explore, but I would love to live in a hotter place where I can just sit and eat my breakfast outside or have dinner outside. You don't have to worry, or like I could plan an event and have that outside, and I wouldn't need to worry about necessarily looking at the weather. Like here, we really have to think about what the weather's going to be like if we're going to be outside or not, you know? But yeah, so I would love to have just like a space that I can go sit outside in the evening time. Like if I just want to go sit outside with, I don't know, I was going to say with wine, but I don't drink wine. So not with wine, but like with, I don't know, a cup of tea, a glass of water, a can of juice. I don't know. But you know what I mean? After dinner, I could just go sit outside and relax. I would love to live in a place where I could do that. I do think one day I would love to live abroad. But I think with this state of the world right now, it's a very difficult thing to think could happen. You know, but I would love to one day move abroad. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot recently, actually. I don't know. I think it's just because we have so much time to just think about things now with everything going on. I've been really thinking about that. I think it's because I also really want a holiday. I do. I really want a holiday. I've said this a million times. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm blabbing about stuff that is not even related to the build, and I'm sorry. I feel like this is my time just to like get all my thoughts out, and like, cause oh my gosh, my brain has been going a million miles an hour for months now, and I feel like I just can't keep up. I can't catch up to my thoughts, and yeah, I just, it has been a time. It has been a time indeed. But I feel like these videos are a chance for me just to kind of talk to myself, but then also, you know, share with you guys. Like, I want you guys to know kind of a little bit about me, you know, because I feel like this is a great time for us to connect, and I love reading your comments when you share something. Like, I love that. I love finding out about you guys and stuff, and I just think it's a nice time for us to share a moment in this absolute madness, basically. So that's what these end up being. I'm really sorry if you want me just to talk about the build. it doesn't often happen. Sometimes it does. Sometimes I'm really on it and I just talk about the build. But yeah. Anyway, this is like the little study area. I really struggled with the floor plan of this because the shape of it, I thought this made sense to be the living space here at the end, but then I didn't want to block the glass windows and I didn't know where to put the TV and stuff, so I ended up not putting it here and I put it in the middle, and that's why I added that little divider wall so I could put the TV against it. And I do like the way it turned out. I think it has a really nice flow to it, and I love having these dividers here, so like it feels like a separate space but it's still completely open plan. I really like that. I love that. I think it adds a nice feel to the space, because I imagine this is like, what, a working space or at least a focus zone, so it feels like it's slightly separate, which is nice. But yeah, I'm just making it very, very simple. Again, I'm not cluttering too much with this build. I'm trying to really not clutter all that much with the builds in the save file, just because it's the aesthetic that I want to go for. Like I said before, if you missed the first video, I spoke about how I've been feeling very uninspired with building recently, and this is my way of getting back into it, is just going back to builds I really, really loved and felt more confident with, than instead of trying to do just stuff because it was popular and I'm not confident in doing that stuff, if that makes sense. So this is what I really enjoy, what I feel a lot more confident doing, and it's definitely not got as much clutter. It's got a bit of clutter. Most of the clutter is just made up of plants being everywhere, but it's not got clutter as such. But yeah, plants. I really, really, really want a stuff pack of just plants. I do, because there's only like, I want to say there's like 10 plants I use, but because I put at least like 30 odd plants in each house, we use those plants quite a lot. We do, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, I suppose. I really want to, I want to get the new pack simply for the hanging ceiling plant. I really want to get that plant. That is so, so pretty. I see people using it all the time. I'm like, it's gorgeous. I want it. Although I know for a fact I would put it in every single room and it would probably look really stupid, but I would just be using it because I'm excited to use it, you know? But then this space here, this is the master bedroom, I guess. There's two bedrooms, like I said before. We have this bedroom, which is bigger, and then the other bedroom. And like I said, I didn't really talk much about the family who lived here. But yeah, they are very much party animals. They work in like, I imagine them working in like, one of them working in tech, so it's like very advanced in that sense. And then I kind of imagine this being a second home for them. I know we can't own two homes, but let's not get into that, even though I don't understand why it's not a thing in the game, but hey ho. Not much we can do about it, unfortunately. We just gotta wait and see what happens. I hope we can own more than one home at some point. I don't think it makes much sense that we can't, but anyway. I do imagine this being like a second home for them. Maybe they live and work in the city, and then this is where they come at the weekends to unwind or on holidays and things. So yeah, that's who I imagined living here. But yeah, this is the master. I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'm happy with this master. I was doing it and something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like it matched the rest of the place. It didn't feel like it had the same sort of feel, and I don't know. I prefer the second bedroom to this one, if I'm being completely honest. I do prefer the second one. The second one I think is quite nice. I do. This one, I don't know. Something feels off to me. But I can't tell what it is. A part of me thinks it's maybe the bed. So I don't know. I don't know. I hope you guys like it though. But then this is the second bedroom. It's a bit smaller, and it was a bit awkward. I wanted to have the double bed so that you could walk around both sides, but with the layout of where the windows were, where the door was, it wouldn't really work. Cause otherwise you'd walk in to the room and straight away you'd have to walk like down to the end of the bed to get around the bed, and it just, to me, it felt like it would be too crammed in. So I put it against the wall. I made a little feature of it, put a little shelf and picture and stuff above it. But it's very simple in here. We just have the bed, the wardrobe. I think we have a little seat or something. Yeah, so it's more like a guest space. I suppose if they have parties or something like that, it's somewhere for people to stay over. I feel like it's just like an extra space they don't really ever use. I was thinking about creating it into like a workshop area for the eco lifestyle stuff, like having the fabricator or like candle making or something like that. But then I made the decision that I was like, no, I don't think those people live that sort of lifestyle. Like I say, it's very posery, so they've bought an eco-friendly home, but they don't partake in any eco-friendly activities, if that makes sense. So I thought this was better just to be like a spare room. But again, you know, you have the opportunity, depending on if you want to play in this house, depending on the gameplay style that you have space to change it. It could be people live here, maybe it's 2 singles that live here, so they each have their own room. Maybe this becomes a kid's room. You have options. It's a good sized room, it's nice and bright, so yeah. I really like that sink area. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. I feel like it's the kind of thing you would see like on a magazine. Just in like an interior design magazine, you just see a picture of that and it's such a statement. I don't know why. I don't know why I think it's such a statement, but it's very nice. I do like it. I really like the sink from that fitness stuff pack. For these sort of builds, I think it really works. For a normal build, obviously it's a bit weird, but some of the furniture from that pack is really nice. Like one of the end tables, the long thin end table that's got that really raw piece of wood running along the end of it, and then it's got like concrete or something, looks really nice. I love stuff like that. I really love furniture like that, with all these natural raw materials. If I could have my own house, I 100%, if I could afford to buy all these really gorgeous raw material furnishings, I would definitely have a house filled with all that sort of stuff, because I love it. I love concrete walls and big slabs of wood. I'd love to have like a big raw wood coffee table. I love like the really thick like wood chopping boards and coasters and placemats and all that. I love all that stuff so much. But anyway, yeah, we're almost done with the video actually. We're just working on this exterior, and I just created another little hangout space. I did think I might leave it empty, but I thought no, it looks kind of nice to have like a little sunbathing spot, a little dining space out here, since you didn't have it on the other part. We had the little sofa area on that little decking. So I thought let's add a little dining space here. And I think it looks quite nice. I mean, I imagine it's quite nice and sunny here all the time, so why not? Why not? But we are almost at the end of the video now, so I want to say this build is available on the gallery for you to download. My ID is RibbityYT. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I love chatting away to you guys. It always brightens my day, especially after a long hard week. Just being able to release and have a little chit chat and a little giggle with you guys. So I really hope that I can bring, you know, a little bit of light to your day if you're having a bad one. But I will speak to you all very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
I was walking through the desert, searching for the truth. Left everything behind me, went looking out for you. Walking through the daylight and sleep under the moon. Watch every single sight and mirage just seems to move. You're 1,000 miles away, but if you come while I'm away, stay tonight, stay tonight. You're 1,000 miles away, but if you come while I'm away, stay tonight.